rid of a jury after every issue,
Yeah.
so the money and the corruption and the influence doesn't influence that council. Now we have 10 people, and Dave Frank, average citizen, has an idea that he thinks can make our community better. He thinks that we should have a law that says no driving and drinking in St. Joe County. Doesn't mean you can't drink. You know, you can take a cab, you can take a bus, you can walk, whatever. Somebody can drive. But don't drive and drink, because I am sick and tired of seeing these young people being killed because of alcohol. So Dave Frank can present his idea to this 10-member group, and if the majority of these 10 people think that this is an idea that should be considered in our community, Dave Frank goes to the next step, and that means videotaping Dave and presenting his idea to the community over our local issues television and radio channel. And we will assign an issue number to this issue. Anybody that hears this issue, if they're interested in it, they can call. There'll be 2 phone numbers that will be given. One number they can call and be part of a lobbying group for the issue. One number they can call and be part of a lobbying group against the issue. When they call either one of these numbers, information will be given to them as to where and when these 2 lobbying groups are going to come together and prepare. 30 days later, we're going to have a debate by these 2 lobbying groups. We're going to videotape this debate and present that to the community over our local issues television and radio channel, and there will be a new phone number that will be given. Anybody that's interested in this issue can pick up any touch-tone phone. This is your new key to the city. They can call a local number. Their call will go into the community computer that will have their citizen participation identification number. It will verify the voter with an ID number and a PIN number. It'll ask them what issue number they'd like to vote on. Press 1 for yes, 2 for no, count the vote, block them out from voting more than once. Every time the debate on this issue is replayed, there'll be an updated tally of the issue, okay? So at the end of 10 days, not only will the community be educated on the issue, but the outcome will come from you, the people. And we will implement this in our community. When we find things that work in our community, we'll share that with other communities, and when they find things that work, they'll share it with us. See, the politicians, George, have already figured this out. What they've been doing is they've been remapping America for a long time with gerrymandering. I know you know what gerrymandering is.
I know what gerrymandering is. Yeah.
For those that don't know, gerrymandering is remapping a district so that a politician can either get elected or reelected. The phone company has already figured it out too. What they did was they remapped America with area codes so that we could communicate better. The Postal Service figured it out with zip codes. They remapped America so that we could get our mail more efficiently. And what we, the people, have to do is we have to figure it out, and what we have to do is we have to remap America too. With the satellite and computer technology that we have today, we can remap America so that it looks like a honeycomb. And if you really look at God's creature that's most responsible for making the world a beautiful place, it's a honeybee.
Honeybee.
Right?
Right.
We wouldn't have fruits and vegetables without the honeybee.
Without it.
And if you ever really look at a honeycomb, you'll see that it's made up of hexagons. Very strange, but that's the way God created it, I guess. So our community now, George, will look like a hexagon. The nucleus will be this broadcasting station to send ideas out to the community computer, so that when you want to vote on any issue, it'll receive the vote, and all of a sudden things can start coming together, new ideas, fixing our community. And really, when you think about fixing America, the only way we can fix America is if everybody fixes their own community, right?
Right.
And if everybody does that, the next thing you know, America's fixed.
Well, this has a widespread thing. I mean, it's not only here, but this thing can take off and be across the country.
I think it'll go around the world. Think about it if they had it in a place like Israel or Africa or Russia, places like that where people have no voice, and all of a sudden people can start rolling up their sleeves together, because all these communities, whether it's in America or around the world, they have the same issues, right?
Right.
They all want good health care, they all want good education, they want good infrastructure,
right.
They want a fair tax system, they want a voice. That's what this does.
Well, if we'd had a voice in some of these things that even happened here about the store over there at the St. Joe High School,
when they wanted to spend $1.2 million for a property that was worth about $400,000, was it?
Right.
Yeah. Why? That's our tax money.
Yeah.
We work hard to pay that tax money.
Well, it don't make no difference. The guys in power can do anything. They just write a little letter there. They can take care of that. But I thought that since I didn't live in South Bend, I didn't get involved in it too much. But I should have, as Citizens for the Accountability of Government, which this is what we're doing here today.
That's right.
This is the program. I started this several years ago. And we did that too because the judges was letting people off free and different things like that. We got tired of that, you know. So we started down in Knox County, Vincennes, Indiana. And it worked real well down there. We had people going to the courts and watching what the courts was doing. We didn't have a television thing, but at the same time, we had a local station there, WBU station there off campus at Vincennes University, my alma mater.
There you go.
And which I did several programs there on television. And but we tried to let the community know exactly what was going on, and that's what we did. We got tired of all this crime and everything like that, and people not paying no attention to it, and murder. And I worked on several murders down there that was happening there on campus, and also some of the things that, well, it just nothing was being done until I got involved in it. And but your program, I think, is terrific. I think it's ideal. The only thing is the politicians don't like it.
Well, you know, sometimes what they like is just too bad, or don't like
Well,
is too bad.
but we
you
don't
know?
care whether they like it or
That's
not.
right.
David. We don't care whether they like it or not. But
They're supposed to work for us, George.
well,
We don't work for them.
How many times have I said that?
Right, and if I'm not mistaken, we give them a paycheck. They
Yeah.
aren't giving us a paycheck.
yeah.
And the question is who's the employer and who's the employee?
We're the employer.
I think we are the
I think-
employer. I think they are the employee. They are the servant, but somewhere along the line,
It got messed up, didn't it?
it got messed up. Everything's backwards.
Yeah.
And that's what technology can do. You know, it was talked about thousands of years ago about a world where the last shall be first and the first shall be last. That's what technology allows us to do. We can now live in a world where instead of us doing what they're telling us, we can now tell them what to do, right? And I think when you really get down to it, they don't represent us because they aren't communicating with us.
No, to represent somebody, you have to talk to
You
them.
have to communicate, and like I said, I'm 64.
They-
They've never asked
they
my
never asked you?
opinion, so I don't have any representation.
They've never asked you anything?
I don't know who they're representing.
Oh, but they do it election time.
That's right, that's right.
Knocking on your doors. And,
Oh, vote for me because I'm going to be different.
I'm gonna be
going to be
different.
different than that other guy. When I get in there,
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to you. And you know, Dave Frank has been talking about this for 22 years. And these politicians, every one of them in St. Joe County knows about it. This is an excellent plan where they can represent us. They can actually do what they said they were going to do at election time.
I don't understand.
And
That's
and
right.
now that they've got a voice, all of a sudden everybody else having a voice just isn't really that important to them any longer.
So they run for office, and old crazy people like us, we vote for them, and then at the same time, well, then they do as they please. Once they get in office,
They're
they
set.
promise you this. There's a case up there in Indianapolis right now. Whenever they were working on something, and now they're backtracking on it. See, once they get in office, now they're.
You mean they said one thing at
Oh, yeah.
election
Oh,
time,
yeah.
then when they got in, they
Oh,
did
yeah.
something else?
Yeah, it's in the paper.
How many times are we going to keep doing this before we realize it's stupid?
Yeah, it's in the Tribune today.
Yeah, well,
A new governor up there, he was going to do this and do that. Now they're. I don't know whether we're going to do that now or not.
Well, Washington's not going to fix St. Joe County. Indianapolis and state capitals is not going to fix St. Joe County. The people in St. Joe County have to fix St. Joe County because nobody cares about St. Joe County more than we do.
That's right.
I mean, after all, it is our tax money. It is our kids. It is our schools. Why are we
That's where
relying?
we live. We live in St. Joe County.
That's right. That's right. But we can't fix it until we have a voice. And you know, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. There's no plan here in St. Joe County that the politicians have tried to implement to give us all a voice. That's why we, the people, have to stand up with a plan to give ourselves a voice. And I think the politicians are ready to jump on board, because we're looking around the country today and we're seeing communities go bankrupt. And it's only a matter of time before St. Joe County goes bankrupt. It has to go bankrupt because the tax system that they've imposed on our community, just like every other community, people have to realize that the reason that the economy is bad here isn't complicated. There's no cash. If we don't have any cash,
you can't spend it.
They've sucked the cash out of our community. It's just like an engine that doesn't have enough oil, can't function.
Oh.
Just like a body that doesn't have enough blood, can't function. A community without enough cash can't function, because what we do is we barter with each other, and if we don't have enough cash, we can't barter with one another. That's why we need a voice, so that we can raise issues like, why are we sending our sales tax to 150 people in Indianapolis who don't live here, who really don't care about this community?
They could care less.
Why don't we raise, debate, and vote on the idea of keeping our money right in our community, where we've got enough cash, where we can start bartering with one another, where we can get rid of some of these things like property taxes and wheel taxes, and just start living a life that we want.
Do you recall I fought that wheel tax hot and heavy?
Yes, you did.
And
how many signatures did you get?
Oh my gosh,
Thousands.
Thousands.
And what did they do with those signatures?
They looked at them and laid it down.
They could have cared less.
No, they didn't care. I showed them the signatures that we had. I had other people getting signatures for us, and I forget now. I still have the list at home.
You had thousands.
Yeah, I did.
Thousands, and they could have cared less. They were going to ram that down our throats no matter.
Well, they did.
And look at the roads today. Are the roads better?
Oh, no.
No. And what happened to the lottery? Wasn't the lottery supposed to make our schools better?
Well, it was for education, wasn't it? That's what I thought.
That's what they said.
That's what I thought.
And
it
so
was for
that
education.
opened the door for the lottery. There was like one lottery a week. Now there's how many lotteries every day? And
There's more coming.
And more coming. And then it opened the door for the casinos.
Yeah.
But think about Indianapolis, George. They make money off the drug of tobacco that kills us. They make money off the drug of alcohol that kills us. They're making money off the drug of gambling that's causing divorce, suicide, bankruptcy, any negative thing that you can think of. They're involved in extortion because the state says that if you don't pay your property tax, whether you're
take your home.
They'll take your home, they'll take your business, they'll kick you out. What kind of compassionate lawmakers are we dealing with? Why don't we, the people, start deciding what kind of community we want?
What kind of compassion you call that?
Oh,
when you take somebody.
I call it the mafia.
Yeah. Well,
isn't that what the mafia used to do? Make money off of gambling, cigarettes?
Hey George, I like you. You okay guy?
There you go,
okay
buddy.
guy?
Yeah, like the Godfather. Huh?
Yeah, he said, "You okay, George?" When I'm doing my investigation, that's what the guys tell me in Chicago. Hey, George, I like you. I said, I like you too. And they said, I said, I know about you, know about me. I said, I don't want to bother you because I wind up in the cement overcoat.
Well, they're pretty ruthless.
We have the mafia here, but it's in a different form.
That's right. That's right.
In a different
but it's
form.
the same system. We now know that whether it be in America or any other country, top-down systems benefit the people at the top. And that's why, you know, the people at the top are laughing all the way to the bank, and the people at the bottom, they're losing their homes. They've got all kinds of problems. And that's why we have to change the system.
Well, you know, just like that lady I was talking about, bereavement. But what do you think, how these people feel when they lose their homes?
Oh,
foreclosed on their
homes. Could not imagine.
Well,
and it's happening every day in our
talking about
community.
Bereavement.
Right.
My goodness.
And what's the local political machine doing to stop that?
I have no idea.
Their answer is, let's just go knock down the homes. Let's go knock them down because they're vacant.
Do you know what's happening? You have to go to the meeting in there, and then you don't get up for 3 minutes to talk.
They give you 3 minutes to
Three
talk.
3 minutes to talk.
And if you go over 3 minutes, what do? Sit down.
Sit down.
Sit down. You've
Yeah.
said enough. But when it comes to collecting those taxes, man, they're right there. They make sure that you are to be heard from, aren't you?
You know, this amazes me. When I was a councilman, and I was a councilman for 18 years in southern Indiana, I never, ever told my subjects, I call them my subjects,
Uh-huh.
I never told my subjects if they wanted to get up there and talk unless they went over and over the same thing over and over. They could stand up there and talk. What am I going to do? I'm going to go home and turn the lights out after it's all over. And so I told them, I said, well, you know, and if I had a group of people, if they had one spokesman, I'd have them to come up and talk, he was speaking for the group.
Uh-huh.
And so that worked out fine. And I never had a bit of trouble, and I didn't have to gavel anybody down, because these are the citizens that elected me and put me in office.
Isn't that how you showed your respect?
Well, that's what I did. Am I wrong? Is this wrong?
I think you're absolutely right. I think that the people that own this community deserve respect. They deserve a voice. And
give you 3 minutes at the end of the thing. Is that respect?
And but when you use that 3 minutes, they don't even really talk to you. You just get up and basically talk to yourself. They don't communicate with you.
Well, they'd be shuffling papers and doing this and doing that.
Right.
Doing like that there. They tried to get me to hold 3 minutes, and I said, Mr. Lane, your time's up. I said, no, it hadn't. They had the sheriff come up there and try to escort. They did that, Dave.
I know. I remember
They had
that.
had the sheriff come up there at the podium and escort me back. He said, George, he said, I got to do this. I don't like to do this, but I got to do it. I said, hey, I'm not leaving. I'm not done. And put the hammer down like that.
You're talking too much. Huh?
So what I did, Dave, I just took the papers I had in my hand and I just threw them up all over the thing.
There
They
you
floated
go.
all over the place.
Well, hey, you know, a lot of people are frustrated in our community, and they should be. I mean, look.
It's not only our, it's a state.
Absolutely.
And it's a nation.
The country, and that's why the country is getting ready to fall off the fiscal cliff.
It's
because our monies are being misappropriated. They aren't asking us where we want our monies to go. They don't want to ask us, because then they can't keep feeding their cronies, their political cronies, and they can't keep perpetuating the scam. But in the meantime, look who's suffering. The homeowners. Look at the children in our community. You talk about people losing homes.
Yeah.
Those homes were homes for children.
Yeah.
The schools are falling apart. The infrastructure is falling apart.
We could have took care of that a year or two ago when they had that thing when the president asked for this, they turned him down, flat down.
That's right.
We could have hired people all across the country.
Well, look, they don't listen to the people. They think they have all the answers, but the people they're chock full of knowledge and wisdom, and we've just got to tap into it. And hey, technology. I mean, I look at the technology that we have today, and I think it's just nothing short of miraculous. I mean, I remember growing up looking at a black and white television, and now today,
Yeah.
with this technology, I can take a movie of you. I can a very sharp movie of you and shoot it off into outer space, and out of the hundreds of millions of phones out there, it can come down in the right phone. That's amazing.
It is amazing.
If 20 years ago, if you were a magician and you did that, they wouldn't be able to figure out how you did that. And I can't figure it out today, to tell you the truth. But I do know that the technology is here, and I do know that if we put the right components together, just like a car has a transmission, a body, and an engine, what we've got is we've got a television, we've got touch-tone phones, we've got computers, and if you put those three components together, you have a communication system that is truly of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Well, you know, I thank God that WNIT is here in our community.
I do too.
And if it wasn't for WNIT, my wife watches it all the time. She loves it, the wildlife stories and Lawrence Welk. If they ever take Lawrence Welk off, she'll be down here pulling her hair because she loves that program. Yeah. And we just want to thank God that we have such a wonderful station here that provides a lot of entertainment to the people. I know that some people in Congress want to do it with PBS. That was their thought, to do with PBS. But I understand that there was thousands or maybe 1 million letters went up there and said leave what's that?
Big Bird.
Big Bird alone.
Yeah.
Leave Big Bird alone.
Yeah, it's my goal to see this format transformed into a solutions
I do too.
station.
I do
because
too.
what we have is we have real problems and we need real solutions, not political solutions, real solutions. And those solutions are not sitting over in that city-county building. They're out here in the minds and the hearts of the people in our community.
Well, what was this happened one time when you went to a meeting and you sat in that meeting, was that over in your county, was it Clay County?
I'm in German Township.
German Township, where they voted on something up there not to do it?
Oh, that was Portage Prairie. Oh, that was interesting.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, they wanted to build an industrial park and a shopping mall in German Township, and German Township's sort of a rural kind of
Plural,
area.
yeah, rural.
And it's not like you have a problem finding a pair of shoes in St. Joe County. I mean, there's enough stores here.
Stores here, right.
So what happened was the people in German Township went to the city council meeting to have their voices heard. And there were about 150 of us. And there were and everybody in German Township were there against it. 3 people spoke for it. It was the mayor at the time, Licky. It was the wife of a doctor here in town. And it was a commercial realtor that was going to make money, off of this Portage Prairie thing. 3 people were for it. 150 people were against it. 9 people on the city council voted unanimously for the 3 people.
Oh.
Which means there were 3 people happy, 150 people unhappy.
Ain't that the way it works?
That's the way it works, and that's why it doesn't work. You know,
I thought that's the way it's supposed to be.
But think about it. If they had done what we the people wanted, 150 people would have walked out of there happy. 3 people would have walked out of there unhappy. And you know those 150 people, George, that stood up on that issue? They aren't coming back. They had it. They've had it. Well, they know that the system is rigged. It's like going to a casino that you know that there's no way you can possibly win.
You're not going to win.
Right.
You might get a few bucks, but outside of that,
but you're going to lose.
You're going to lose.
And that's what we're all doing in our community. We're all losing.
But I like that example there, where 3 people was there, and 150 people said no, and the other 3 said yes.
Very unfair. It's not the way it's supposed to be.
Was that on the local city council?
Well, you know, that's even another part of the story to show you how dysfunctional our system is. Yeah. Because the only voice that we really have is to either vote somebody in office or out of office, and if they don't listen to you, you can vote them out of office, right? Well, that decision was a county decision, and we only get to vote for the people in the county. But for some reason, they allowed the city council to make that decision as opposed to the county council. So if we don't agree with those 9 people on the city council, we don't even get to vote them in or out.
Yeah.
That means we have absolutely no voice,
no voice
whatsoever.
That's what's that? Without representation.
Taxation without representation. We have no representation. Right. That's the problem. Whenever you allow a small group of people to take the money and make the rules, they're always going to take the money and make the rules to benefit them, not us.
You want to talk to the people and how they can get in touch with you, or how if they liked your ideas and send a letter to you or call you?
Sure.
I think sending a letter to you would be a lot better instead of calling you, because I know you're a busy man just like I am.
Well, either way, hey, you know what? My goal is to get people to stand up in our community, because if we don't stand up, it's not going to be good.
Well, I have people write to me. That to me is the best, because I'm always out and gone and doing
Yeah, but they can contact me. Our website is onevoicenow.info, ONEvoicenow.info, and the solution page on that website outlines the plan as to how issues go right through the process and how easy it is. So they can look at that, and my email address is davidafrank1948@yahoo.com, and they can email me, or my number's in the book. I'd be glad to take their calls if they want to get involved. But I hope a lot of people get involved, because if they don't,
Well, here we're given the opportunity with this television show.
you're right.
We're given a lot of opportunity, and thank God we do have public access again
Right.
now.
You know, George, when I was growing up in St. Joe County, there might have been one murder a year, maybe. And now you turn on
Now
the TV
yeah.
and there's murders every day. There's gang violence. When I was growing up, when I graduated from Central High School, I could have gone out and got 10 jobs in one day. Seriously. That's how many jobs there were out there. And because of the taxation and the unfairness of the system, now there are very few businesses out there that are hiring, that are paying a decent wage. So, you know, what are these young people supposed to do? What are older people supposed to do? They've really not only destroyed the homeowner, they've destroyed the business owner in our community. And the business owner is where the jobs are. And then the politicians scratch their heads and go, gee, why don't you just go get a job? Well, you destroyed the jobs. Where would you like us to?
Where are they?
Yeah, and then these poor kids are out here dealing drugs, things
yeah.
like that.
They don't have nothing else to do.
They don't have anything else to do.
No.
But the politicians can't figure it out. They've got theirs. They've got their income, incredible incomes that they're paying themselves
and
today.
also insurance.
They've got health insurance for the
Right.
rest of their lives. They've got retirement, and we're all paying for it.
Dave, I want to thank you for being my guest today. I think we've really touched a lot of bases here.
Well, thank you, George. You've
And,
done a wonderful job in the community, and I really appreciate what you've done.
I appreciate what you've done, and I appreciate what you're doing. And I join with you on this thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is George Lane. Thanking you for coming. Citizens for the Accountability Government Incorporated. If you like the show, send me a letter and let us know how you like our shows. We appreciate it. George Lane, 2405 Division, Mishawaka. Thanks for watching.